What is going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Ronan Bell Show. I'm your host, Ronan Bell, and today I have two extraordinary young men with me who are the minds behind one of State College's fastest growing small businesses. Allow me to introduce Brad Kraut and Austin Thomas.
How we doing? What's going on?
So you guys are the minds behind Jerpa Jeans, but before we get into all of that, let's just talk about, who are you guys? Like, tell the audience what you guys are all about.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Austin Thomas. I'm a fall semester senior studying supply chain management. Really just kind of enjoying my last year here at Penn State, trying to make the most of it. So I'm a senior. My last year, which was my junior year, is the year I kind of came out with Jerpa. We'll talk all about that. Obviously, this whole podcast is about that, and we'll talk about kind of how Brad came into play. But, just a little about me, senior, studying supply chain management, enjoying my last year.
Not only an entrepreneur, he's a student too. So he still got schoolwork just like all of us.
And he's really good at basketball too. What's going on, guys? My name is Bradley Kraut. I'm a sophomore here at Penn State. I'm studying advertising and PR. I love talking to people. I love being out and about, posting on social media. I love working out, love, helping other people with workout tips and whatnot. And I just love life, just always, high energy, positive vibes, because you never know when the day will come, and just live life to the fullest.
Love it, man. I love it. So before we get into about Jerpa, let's just talk about, where are you guys from? Like, how was high school life for you guys? Like, what do you think now, looking back on it, high school was like?
So Austin and I actually went to the same high school, Council Rock South, and we met each other through basketball. So I was a freshman, he was a junior, I was on the freshman team, he was on varsity, but the varsity kids would obviously be around the freshmen, and they'd swing by, and I guess Austin would always see me just literally like a pit bull on defense and stuff, and just dap me up, ask me to have some shoot arounds, whatever. But we were acquaintances. We weren't really hanging out outside of basketball. But yeah, you can.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. It's kind of weird that we only got this close now, but we went to the same high school. We're from a few
people ask all the time, how did you and Austin meet? I'm like, we went to the same high school.
Same high school, but we didn't get close until Jerpa, because then, we'll talk about it later, but it was we were FaceTiming every day. It's when you see somebody and they're talking to somebody that long, you really start to kind of knit and, get closer, which is kind of what we did. But in terms of just what we thought of the experience, I can agree, being both basketball and football players, just you don't really talk about that, you play football too, but just being kind of sports guys, that experience of high school, just a close-knit group, was one that I wouldn't trade in for anything. But then I also wouldn't trade in the Penn State experience, which is such a big university like this.
Yeah, I feel like sports in high school kind of teach you the grind early on, and now it's paying off right now, and that's a little bit of wisdom from, what high school taught you something, when you work hard for something, it'll pay off in the end, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, exactly.
All right, so now I want to start with Austin. How did you exactly start Jerpa?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a senior. Also, we're right now in September. It was last October, so we're still under a year.
You made the Instagram post in September.
Yeah, so the idea came about a year ago, but we didn't put a product to market until October, so a little less than a year. But the idea came about my freshman year. I'd go to, being a big school like Penn State, go to football games, see tailgates, and I would see some of my friends wearing thermals under their jeans. So I personally have never done this, but I don't know if have you seen the jean jacket with Sherpa lining?
Yeah, dude, I actually have one in my closet.
Yeah, exactly. So celebrities, everyone was kind of wearing them, and I was just the pants weren't made with the Sherpa. So my first thought was, hey, is this even possible? Second thought is seeing, hey, is this already out there? So I would go on Amazon, go on some of these different websites just to see if it's out there. And the thing that I noticed was, it was lined with flannel, right? So not the Sherpa. So from a consumer preference standpoint, the Sherpa was what was in. But then also it was these big baggy snow pants with this current generation,
literally 50 and 60-year-old dudes wear them, and they're just not fashionable.
Exactly, and
our target market is college students, and most college students are fashionable.
Exactly, and they want that slim straight look, which is what we were going for. So that's kind of how the idea came about. Any idea, whatever you're coming out with, you always obviously need a problem, need a solution, which is what we came out, and then you talk about your go-to-market strategy and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. Basically, I feel like entrepreneurship in general, that's what it's all about. Coming up with an idea to solve just a basic problem that no one's ever thought of before, and that's what puts you above the competition, puts yourself out there for your first actual company.
Yeah. I feel like, Austin, you should talk about how it literally took like a year to actually put the product into play.
Yeah,
Like a year prior to last year, Austin.
For sure. So I mean, September 2019 was when like the idea and everything was like set, and you know we were ready to launch. But since October 2018, I started sampling, and you know like some of our first few samples was the problem was okay, sure it had Sherpa. Now you're warm outside, but you get inside, you're sweating bullets, right? So like how do you find that happy medium where you're warm outside, but you're also kind of not too hot inside, right? So just finding that happy medium. So after sampling, finding the color of the Sherpa, finding everything that we kind of wanted, you know, we were able to kind of find the product. Then you fast forward to October, that's when we finally launched the product. And then, you know, we can even talk later, but then the follow, what was it, January of this past year is when we launched the joggers. Yeah, so then, you know, we go into the jeans, which you're wearing, the dark, regular fit, but then we also kind of came out with the joggers, right? So just keep being able to kind of come out with line extensions and come out with more products is what we're looking for.
Now, quick little plug here. These drones are mad. Like, if you guys don't
I'm wearing the joggers right now, and they are awesome.
If you guys don't have a pair of these,
size.
go on jerpajeans.com and purchase these right now. All right.
Use code Kraut 10.
I love it. All right. So with, you know, anyone starting a business, let's talk about the hardship. You know, obviously now you guys are starting to taste that feeling of success. So what adversity did you guys have to overcome when you first started, you know, launching, wanted to make your own company? Let's talk about that.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
I mean, the biggest thing for me, and it's not like getting in that emotional bag, but the biggest thing for me is like when you're trying to come out with something, like first of all, not everyone's leaders, not everyone's followers, right? But when you're trying to come out with something, you can't care what other people think. Had I run this idea by 10 people, I bet you 8 people would say, hey, this is not a good idea or whatever, right? So then you just kind of set your mind on something and do it. But I think some of the hardships at first was just not having everyone kind of buy into what you're doing.
Austin was very lonely.
Not having everyone buy into what you're doing. And even Kraut will tell you when he started first pushing the product, use
people are like,
Kraut 10.
just like, they're just like, what are you doing? You know, they're mimicking me, like, you know, like, use my code, like, blah, 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 20 to get, you know, 80% off these jeans.
Yeah.
And, you know, but the thing is, I just kind of put that aside, and I was like, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm truly passionate about the product, and, like, the potential that these jeans had were literally out the roof. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm happy that, you know, because Austin made an Instagram post in September and said, hey, like, I'm coming out with these jeans. I'm going to be looking for ambassadors. Like, reach out to me if you're interested. So right away, my thought process is, one, like, this is a sick idea. Two, like, why not try to, like, help, you know, a friend out and, like, growing a business. Mm-hmm. So whatever I commented, I forget what I commented, but then I actually ended up DMing him. We have, like, proof of the DM. It's awesome. Look back at it. And it was just, like, back and forth, like, yo, like, the product's sick. Like, I would love to, like, cop a pair. Like, when can I officially be an ambassador? And, like, Austin's like, you're an ambassador. Like, he's like, you're in. Like, you're in. There's nothing you need to do. So then the jeans finally come in, like, October. And I go down to, so I lived in East Halls. It's probably like a 10-minute walk to where Austin lived downtown. And whatever, I get a text from Austin, like, hey, you can come down, like, get the joggers. I'm like, all right, or the jeans. And I'm like, all right, word, I'll come down now. Go downtown, and, like, on the way, I was really skeptical about these jeans because I was like, how am I going to put on a pair of jeans that are lined with, like, fur? Like, how is that even, like, possible? However, like, I was like, all right, they're going to be too stiff. I'm not going to be able to move. Get into Austin's apartment, drop my pants, put these jeans on, pop a squat in them. I get up from the squat and I go, Austin, these have serious potential. Like, these are legit, these are sick. And after that moment, I just went back to East Halls and I was just excited about the product. I was like, yo, like, check these out. Like, look at these. They're like, yo, like, where'd you get these? I need to try them on. Kids would try them on. And then that's how, like, we started, like, kickstarting it. So kids started trying them on in my dorm. And literally right after, like, yo, I need them. So I would go downtown to Austin's, get the jeans, come back to my dorm, and take a video of me, like, delivering the jeans to them, tag the person, be like, woo, Jerpa, whatever it was, and put it onto my story. Because doing this, it kind of, like, built a mini community, and people, like, wanted to be a part of it. Because when someone comes out with a new product, people are obviously skeptical about it. Like, I was skeptical about it myself. But once people started seeing more people buying the product, it just, like, took off. I think I ended up selling, like, 38 pairs in, like, 2 days, literally just running downtown, bringing back packages, throwing them to people, recording them, putting it on Instagram stories, Snapchats.
Well, here's the thing with you guys. I feel like the energy that you guys bring, like, you guys believe in this product. And, like, that's That's the thing.
I'm not in like when I first started. Like I wasn't in it for the money being just to have in my Instagram bio. I'm an ambassador. Like no, that's not what it was about. It was me truly being passionate about this product and wanting other people to like experience the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, feel the same way that you did when you first put those jeans on.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God,
I got
these are
excited,
awesome.
and I wanted other people to feel that, and that's what we did.
The other thing I was thinking is, just to answer more of your question, because we talked about like the beginning stage, but the first, and I won't take too long, but just the first real business problem, as every other business saw, was the COVID, when COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
How do you kind of deal with that? We were just launching our black cardigan. Now minds are focusing on, this COVID going on. Nobody's really focusing on shopping, that sort of thing. But hardship, that was probably the main hardship. I remember that.
But it was
the
a
first
hardship, but it turned into something. Like,
Well,
it was good for us.
That's the thing. I mean, why can't you guys be the good thing out of the tragedy?
Yeah,
You know?
literally turned a negative into a positive.
Dude, that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, I emphasize that so much.
Yeah.
Like, dude, things happen. Like, it's what you do after those things that really.
How do you
define
deal with
people.
adversity, bro?
Yeah, that's
How
what
do you
I'm.
deal?
That's what I'm saying.
Like I remember Austin even last year was like, "Yo, so like everything's like going smooth now, but like what's gonna happen when like there's a problem?" I'm like, I guess we'll find out and see. Who knows?
And that's the thing with, I mean, business in general. You have to be resilient. You have to see what's happening in the field, and you guys got to react to that.
Yep.
And that's like the big thing about what you guys did. I mean, heck, I mean, nothing was happening for what, 5 months, 6 months. We all
Yeah.
weren't here, and this was a big. This was big for you guys, just
Yeah.
having State College as your community, like you were saying earlier, and what you guys did after COVID. I mean, really sparks inspiration. I hope a lot of people out there, and just like even me, like I'm sitting here making a podcast now. I mean, you guys really like experience everything. You guys are making something out of something else, and that's what this whole life thing's really about.
sure,
You know what I'm saying? So let's get into what makes you guys work so hard. What's the drive behind you guys waking up every day and being like, you know what, let's do more.
Yeah.
For me, I want to be successful, so I'll do whatever it takes to be successful. However, I want to be successful, but I want to have fun. But obviously, there will be those hardships. Okay, like don't get me wrong, like life isn't perfect, but I just want to enjoy what I'm doing with my life and having fun with it.
Yeah.
Even like success can be drawn like two ways. It could be like money or how happy you are. So like for me, I just want to be happy and like live my life basically, and not have to like have too many worries or anything.
The main thing I used to like always watch these like motivational videos, and like there was one motivation video and he was like, I think it's Eric Thomas, but he like talks about like, I don't need an alarm clock, my passion wakes me up. And I think like if you kind of not live by that, but just like think about that, like if you're waking up in the morning like dreading your day, whether it's an exam, whether like whatever it is, like if you're waking up dreading, like you've already lost. Like we wake up, we're ready for the day.
Find your why. Find your why. Like why were you put on this earth? Why?
Yeah.
Like, what drives you?
But I'm just saying, in terms of like, even when I'm either packaging product or doing anything Jerpa, it literally doesn't feel like work because it's what we enjoy. We're doing a photo shoot tomorrow, getting videos done. It's probably gonna take like a 2-hour slot, but that's like my leisure, my free time because I enjoy it. But I think why I wake up, not why I wake up, but why I want to work hard is so that one day I can do something in my life where I'm not working for somebody. I'm kind of doing something on my own that I want to do, and that hopefully leads to all the other things. But you kind of just take it a day at a time. Don't chase money. Don't chase success. Don't chase any of that. Just kind of one day at a time, chop at it.
Live in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, be yourself. Stuff will fall into place.
Like we could talk about that too, but like I haven't slept on my bed in 1.5 years because the inventory is on my bed. But I think like you talk about living day by
If you go
day.
to Austin's apartment, do not sit on the couch or you will freak out.
That's my bed. But in terms of just remember it, like living in the present. Like one day we're gonna have a warehouse, God willingly, and we're gonna remember the time that we had to stack inventory in an apartment, right? So just kind of being present and remembering that, like even your college experience, right? Like once this is over, it's like you just look back on that as a memory, right? So just
we even look back on stuff from like a year ago now. And we just like laugh at it. Like the other night, we had this new like freshman rep who's absolutely killing it. Shout out Luke. And I was kind of just like on my phone, like on my Instagram and through my highlights, just like showing him like what I was doing, and we were just like cracking up at like the reactions that people were getting when I was throwing them the packages, and like watching that, like realize like wow, like if I look at that now and someone was doing that now, like I would 110% like want to buy product, want to be a part of it. And I mean that's only around Penn State, but like we've expanded, to like Maryland, Ohio State, Delaware, Westchester University,
Syracuse, Indiana,
where's Papio?
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina. So like we've expanded to like bigger schools through like an ambassador program, and like we now like have ambassadors that have bought into it, and like that's really where our success is. We haven't even dove into like Facebook marketing ads or like Instagram ads or anything. Like all of our sales and like revenue that have come in so far is literally just word of mouth, and it's insane.
Well, that's awesome. And I think what like really separates you guys, and I think this is what separates a good company from a bad company. I think you guys are a team, and like it's not, you guys aren't individuals like working, like you might be the top of the company, but Brad's sitting over here and you respect him just like everyone else. And that's what it's really about. Like you guys are all in it together. And that's what I love about Jerpa.
I mean, I think Austin and I are a great team because Austin, supply chain major, 3.95 GPA. Kid's got the brains. Like he's, on that Excel sheet, putting in numbers and everything. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is that? Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm on, social media, taking videos, spreading the word, connecting Austin with other people. And I just feel like that's like how we like work together. Now Austin finally, like last year, like he didn't want to be on like Instagram stories or anything. He was kind of like shy, but now
no, I didn't want there to be a face of the company yet, right? I just wanted the models to model. Nobody kind of know who's behind it. But then Brad really, and I thank him for that. Brad really just talks like you even said, you haven't seen a day where like you haven't seen content. Like just I think showing people we're packaging their product or showing people
the back end of the stuff that
they order today, products are going out, right? Like just kind of keeping people, like even in my marketing class we like talk about it, but just like anytime a consumer can relate more to a company like that, it just makes them that much more loyal. And like I competed for a show this summer, and like I did our like customer retention rate in terms of like how many customers, it was like 23% of customers were returning and buying more in terms of like buying multiple products. So like I think for a company that's really good in terms of like how many people bought 2 beanies? Like a bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like just like people supporting us like that, I think is huge, but it comes from, content that we're pushing now. Like and that's why I think we're really seeing more success, because
more people want to be a part of it. We get DMs every day saying, hey, how can I become an ambassador? Hey, how can I model? And before, like when we first started, I was reaching out to people and they were like basically,
what is this?
What is this? Like, who are you? Which I understand, but like they weren't there from the start. Now those same people are coming back to us saying, hey, can we model? And I'm just like, man.
Well, the thing that I want to touch on, what you guys said, is that like Austin, you said you don't want to like put yourself out there yet, and you're saying that Brad kind of got you out of your comfort
Austin was
zone
shy.
a little bit.
He was shy.
And that's what this show's about. You see, all those listeners that are listening out there, like take that as an example. Feel that in your chest. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you helped him out, and that's what life's about. Like you didn't want to do that originally, and Brad's over here pushing you. He's inspiring you, and that's what's awesome. Like you might be the top of the company, but there's a guy sitting there right to your side, and he's right there trying to get you better.
Yeah, I mean every article I've talked about or just like been in, I've always kind of said like. And that's why he's getting rewarded. Like not many people know, but he's getting a royalty now on top of his commission. Like I'm starting to kind of build him up, because the success we're seeing, like sure everyone's played a role, but like a lot of it is from what he did. Like now we have a group of 50 ambassadors, correct? And 50 is dived in, but we had a group of 30 ambassadors, and I would say three
people were active.
3 kids were active, and he was one, and he was raking, and like
so Austin would run so one way to like incentivize and like make it like kind of like a competition like for the ambassador program that we run is Austin would be like, hey, first person to 10 sales get an additional like $30 or whatever. So I would see that and be like, okay, I'm winning, and I would literally type in the ambassador chat like, come at me, like I'm literally winning this. There's no competition, and I would go and I would win it. And like so just like doing that was smart by Austin, but it was also like very incentivizing too.
This is where I wanted to tie into next. So you're talking about the energy that you bring, you're hungry for that next sale. How do you exactly keep that up all the time? I feel like you're always at
when someone makes it like if I'm high energy and like because of that, and I'm funny, whatever, I'm out there, people want to buy the product because of that. And just like when someone makes it like buys the product, it's just like, oh my god, like that's awesome, and it just makes me want to keep going with it.
The products, but you used to say that too. Like, sure, you're a great salesman, but the product
sells itself.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. Like,
especially the jeans. I mean, the t-shirts, some of our branding products now is starting to build a name around the brand, but our signature product was literally selling itself. But then also talk about like just the community aspect of like what we're trying to build with that, and like how you were doing that with just like stories and showing everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I already mentioned, so like the strategy that I was using was just like making people like feel a part of like a community, you know, putting people up on my story, you know, saying I appreciate, you know, you buy a pair of joggers, whatever, tag them, put it up to my story, put it Snapchat story. And I feel like as like more and more people like saw that, it made more and more people more inclined to buy the product. But the thing was, I wasn't like saying buy Jerpa this, buy Jerpa that. I was simply just showing people wearing Jerpa and, you know, smiling, being happy, you know, excited to receive their Jerpa package. And that was definitely like 110% a part of our success.
And even now, one of the things that I've been doing is like people are starting tagging us, like wearing their beanies, girls, guys, like just throwing them on the story.
They'll receive their package, open the package, whatever, and then put on their beanie, take a picture and tag Jerpa's page, and then like we'll repost it on the Jerpa page.
But like even when we get bigger, like I've seen girls, guys tag like Gymshark, Lululemon, and it's just like those big companies don't put stuff on their story, but like when you put on it, like you feel a sense of like excitement, right? So even when we get bigger, that's something I told myself, like I want to still kind of show everyone that they matter.
We appreciate you.
That, you know what I'm saying? Like that they matter, feature
that
them on
your
the story.
support is unmatched. Like
exactly.
We thank you for that.
You know, and here's the thing, like you guys have been keeping that up since day one. Nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, Brad, you know, I remember when I bought my first pair of jeans.
I was literally looking at the highlights of my on my Instagram and your video.
I walked it to you at the Ford building.
Oh my god, dude, that was awesome. But even since, you know, the very beginning, and you guys are still keeping that up, like, you know, you're appreciating every single one of those customers that really come up to you and support your brand. That's, you know, that's what you're talking about with community. I mean, you guys are building it through you guys, through your brand, and that's awesome. Not many companies out there keep doing that after they go big. Like what you're saying about Gymshark and stuff like that. I mean, not a knock on them, they're a great company, but you guys are way more, you know, you guys are level-headed, and you guys, you know, keep the same mentality.
But the other thing is, and even when we talk about like a quote or whatever, but the other thing is like never, my parents always tell me like never get content. Like sure, we've gotten bigger, but there's so much
we
more.
are nowhere near where we want to. Like,
I would say we have a presence in Penn State.
Yes.
Everywhere else, we're irrelevant so far. So we need to pick it up at some of these different universities, and then we can get bigger. But in terms of Penn State,
we're actually getting a U-Haul. We're gonna spray paint it, Jerpa it out, and actually go on a
Jerpa tour.
a Big Ten Jerpa tour and go to all the Big Ten schools.
I love it,
and just sell Jerpa out of the U-Haul.
You know, and
we
so
should actually do that though.
So far from what you guys done, what are some things that you feel like that you haven't learned from school or anything, but you've learned from, you know, starting your own business, things like that, something that you haven't learned from a textbook?
I'll go.
Things like that.
Yeah, I mean the big thing, and I like just like talked about this in my class too, but the big thing is like school teaches you like responsibility, right? It's the first time you're on your own. Like how responsible are you? It teaches you that. Textbooks can teach you Excel, teach you all that, but like
just being at a university itself just teaches like who you are, like being away from home, being away from your parents. So in that aspect, you're on your own.
Yeah, but the one thing I think school doesn't teach, and that comes from within, is just like social skills, right? Like how do you deal with people? How do you deal with an upset customer, right? Like stuff like that, like you can only learn. And my big thing is humans rise to the occasion. Like when you're thrown in something, like you're gonna rise to the occasion, be able to do it. Like we were thrown into you can't prepare me for running a business.
I always tell Austin, anything we do, we're not wrong.
Yep. So like I think just being thrown into it, we've learned so much. And I think the one thing to answer your question is like social skills. We are both like fortunate enough to be like social beings, be able to like communicate with others, but like some social skills is something that like can't be taught, and that's kind of helped us run our business.
So starting that business and what you're talking about, has anyone been like a role model for you guys? You know, I talk about on this podcast, you know, I'm trying to get people to be inspired by other people. I think that's what you guys are doing. But who is the person, or what was the thing that really, you know, set you off? Have you been taking advice from someone else that's higher up than you, anything like that?
Well, first of all, I always attribute my family in terms of just like work ethic. Like they've instilled work ethic in terms of work hard, My mom always says, like, what does she say? Like, party now, work hard later, or work hard now, party later, right? So kind of that idea. But aside from my family, my brother, all that kind of thing, my role model in terms of like what he's been doing and how we want to kind of get there is just Jose Zuniga from like teaching men's fashion. I don't know. He's a huge YouTube guy in terms of just like
Austin literally DMs me videos of this guy, probably like 5 to 6 videos a day.
Do you know the company Manscaped?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of his companies. He also has Essentials, which is a clothing company, but everything he's doing, so he does the kind of same launch model that we're doing we're doing the same launch model that he's doing, right? So like a lot of the business things he's doing, we want to implement along with, you see his personality and he's literally us. Like, so looking at somebody who's that successful, if we're able to implement some of the things he's doing, but also put what we're doing and mix it together, I think we can see success. But I would definitely say Jose Zuniga is definitely like a role model per se.
Yeah, so how about you, Brad? Is there anyone that really inspires you?
Christian Guzman. So Christian dropped out of college when he was 19 years old. He was only a sophomore. Started like his own fitness brand called Alphalete. Well, first he started online coaching. And then through online coaching, he was like, well, all right, I want to open my own gym. So he opened his own little gym, probably like 10 to 15 people could be in there at most. And then through that, he came out with his company called Alphalete, which is now like a big time clothing company. Mm-hmm. And then after came out with Alphalete, decided he wanted to open up like an Alphalete gym, like a massive gym. So he ended up doing that. And now he's opening up something called Alpha Land, which is literally going to be the fitness headquarters like in the United States. He's going to have like 2 gyms there, a hotel, bunch of influencers staying there. And like when he, I'll be honest, he went like incognito last year for like a couple months, and he kept saying like 20 days, 19 days. And like when it was finally like the day and like he announced that he was like doing this Alpha Land thing, like during the video, I'll be honest, like I just started like tearing up because everything that he does is just like for his family, like his mom like had to fight through like cancer and whatnot. Like I've seen these videos, and it kind of just like touched me. And like it's like everyone in like the video, like it's his mom being interviewed, his girlfriend, his friends. It's like Christian's insane. Like there's no way he's gonna be able to pull it off. He hasn't slept in 2 days, and like just like seeing that and like to where like this Alpha Land's gonna be going, just what Christian has done in his life inspires the hell out of me. He's the one he's the one reason why I got into fitness still, and it kind of changed my life.
Well, and the thing for me is that like I'm talking to you guys right now, and I'm realizing how humble that you guys are. Even though that you're so high energy, that you still look up to these people like they're above you, and they're down to earth too. And like the people that you surround yourself with are the person that you're going to become. And you know what I'm saying? Like I think
that's why I love surrounding myself around Austin.
And that part of it, that part of running a business is huge, because it's the people that you wanna incorporate one day, and really, maybe not work for you, maybe they go somewhere else, but they keep you with that level head. And that's what I think you guys are doing really well. Like it doesn't matter how much money that you guys are making, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to grow this business, and that's what like I believe is the end goal. I mean, you're not thinking you're making millions of dollars right now. That's never the goal.
Yeah.
For when anyone starts a business, it's
I always say Austin, like, let's go big, and he's like, dude, like, relax, like, 3 to 4 years.
Because a lot of companies like I love Shark Tank, one of my favorite shows. A lot of companies will go on there trying to give out equity, and all of a sudden they only have 50% of their equity, which they're giving away. Like if we just take it a step at a time now, we'll be able to hold 100% equity and then be able to do bigger things later. So I think it's just patience and kind of having that maturity early on.
And just keep being, like you said in the video, just keep innovating, keep making the next product better than the last, that kind of thing.
Yeah, when you guys are dropping stuff, I mean, you're really patient about when you do it, it's not just like right away that you're dropping something.
Well, you need a plan. Like you need to come up.
Exactly.
So here's a learning point. Like when we first started, we didn't have Austin didn't really have a plan.
You want
just kind of just
a learning point. So now, and this is like really led to some success. Let's just say we want to launch our hoodies next Friday. We'll get content in terms of photo shoot done 2 weeks prior, start pushing content, start hyping it up, and then launch the product. Versus when we first started, we would launch the jeans,
and then get a photo
shoot 2 weeks later, and now we're like pushing product, but it's like kind of already in the mix. So that's why like we've been selling out quicker. We've been doing some of these things that's helping our business model.
And this all started because of coronavirus, because that's when we figured out, all right, this is the model that we need to do. We did it with t-shirts and it worked perfectly, and now that's what we're going to continue to do. But obviously we're going to keep learning. We're not perfect, but
I love that. And that's like the thing with the business. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, COVID hit, you guys were talking about that earlier and saying that you guys didn't know what to do when it first hit. And the thing that really hits me is that you guys kept going. You guys didn't stop. There was not that moment of, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Are you ready for this? Shout out Coach Wright from high school. But I don't know if you know Jay Wright from Villanova, but my high school coach was his brother. And they're both, you talk about business model, like their program model is around attitude. And it's just the moral of it is basically like, if the ref's not calling something you like or the game's not going, kind of how do you react to it? What's your attitude per se, right? Like, do you keep your head up or do you put your head down and pout? But the same thing kind of goes, and it's like cliche, but like when you get hit with coronavirus, you're a business, and all the successful businesses have done it. Do you keep your head up and kind of keep going, or do you kind of give up?
Or do you giving it like it's an excuse to just like, be lazy all day, lay around, oh, corona, now I can just do nothing with my life.
Yeah, but and that's why, like he talks about, we got better from corona. That's like no BS. It's a matter of when we were in school, it was probably a thing because we were busier, but we weren't setting meetings. We weren't FaceTiming. When corona hit, we were literally meeting.
Like hopping on Zoom meetings.
Because you had to. I mean, that was the only way.
Exactly.
Going to Google Docs and writing down different ideas. Which influencers were hitting up, like, DMing this TikTok
product
star.
Timelines,
Product
coming out,
like
which products we want to come out with, all that stuff kind of came about literally from corona. We got way more organized, and now we're kind of growing steadily like the way we need to.
Well, and that's the thing, and a big point, like I make sure, like the tagline that I want with this podcast is just keep on keeping on. And I feel that's the thing, like no matter what happens in your life, if you just keep working, it'll all be worth it in the end. You take it day by day. It's nothing more than
hard work always pays off.
That's what I'm.
That's
what I'm saying. I can't curse on this podcast for anyone wondering. But so let's get into for all the young entrepreneurs out there that are just like you guys, 20 years old, they might still be in high school trying to figure out something. What are some tips? If you could give them some words of advice, what would you guys tell? I know we hopped on it earlier, but let's go back.
Nothing you do can be wrong.
Nothing you do can be wrong, and just there are gonna be people out there that want you to fail, and like you probably will fail, and they'll be happy about it. But then it's what are you gonna do after you fail? Are you just gonna put your head down like we just talked about, or are you gonna keep going and try something different? Also, don't let people get in your head, and if you're doing something awesome, there's gonna be those haters, and literally just block the haters.
No. People want to see you do well, but never better than them. So just like have that in the back of your mind and kind of know what your goal is, and don't stray from that. Like if you set your mind to something, go do it.
So just who cares what people think of you? Just be yourself. Like
that's Brad's motto.
I'm always myself, and like obviously like there are those people out there that despise me just because I'm me, but I kind of just block it out. And I just keep doing me, and I'm happy.
And that's the thing.
Surround yourself with other people that support you, and just get rid of the negative, toxic people in your life, and you'll be 100,000, 10 times better.
Yeah, you're comfortable in your own skin, and that's what everyone should strive to be. It's not trying to, be like this next person. Who are you?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you special for who you are? And that's why I think that you guys do really well. What we were saying earlier, how you were shy, and Brad helped you out. That's going out of your comfort zone. Someone else. He was
talking shy on social media.
No.
I've never been a shy person.
No. Austin. Yeah. All right, low key, Austin is exactly like me, but he doesn't like show it like through like social media. Which I do. But now he's starting to come out a little more about it because, dude, people need to see like Austin just like being himself. Like people need to see that, and like people love when we're organic and just real and like just us.
Have you ever felt like there's a time that that yourself hasn't been portrayed exactly to other people? Like people just don't like who you guys are, and what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so like I mean, even my like roommate, saw my social media, he tells me now, like we're best friends, but he told me, dude, like through your media, like I was showing my friends and stuff like before we got to college, and like they're like, dude, like why are you rooming with this kid? Just because of like my social media presence. But then you come and meet me in real life, and I'm a normal person. Like obviously I have that crazy side, but I can be very mature and stuff like that. But don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you talk about relationships, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or just friends. Like people are compatible, people are non-compatible. I don't have a specific example, but definitely run across people you just don't vibe with or click with, right? But you just kind of find groups, and I don't know. My theory, I like to keep my circle close, right? Like whoever my close friends are, kind of keep those close because I know I click with them. I know they want to see me do well. I want to see them do well, that kind of thing. But I think a lot of times when people don't compat is when they're trying to have like fake friends, right? Like they don't really.
They're just trying to fit in with them, but like really they don't, or they're trying to be cool. They're trying to be with the popular kids, whatever. But it's just like, stop being fake. Go find like your people, and you'll be so much happier.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, you guys are true human beings. It doesn't matter who you guys meet. It doesn't matter who you are out there. You're gonna put the same respect into someone else as you do yourself, and that's a big thing. That's why I try and talk about on this podcast. I mean, people try and separate other people because I don't like the way that they look and stuff like that. You take even go a little bit far. You talk race into it, but you guys keep everyone on the same playing field. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from. I'm going to treat you like the same human being that other person.
But yeah, that's big. Like I've seen articles like where like there'll be a CEO and a janitor, right? And like they look at each other the same way, right? Like it doesn't matter who you are. But the same thing kind of goes like, and I want to keep this like with us too. Like even if we do get big or when we get bigger, like when we were small, like we got to remember people who like were there, right? Like that's the same way, like
group.
Because that's the only way we got bigger to where we are. Even us coming on the show, like when you get bigger with a bigger podcast, like just remember, right, like that we were here, like then you're gonna go and continue that on, right? Like so just continue to treat like you said, that humble mentality, but just continue to treat people like no matter how big you are or how small you are, just everyone's the same playing field, right? Like there's a man above, like things can be taken away like anytime, right? So you just gotta be humble and kind of like treat people with respect.
Like that golden rule that everyone learns in elementary
Treat
school.
others the way you want to be treated.
100%. And that's, I mean, then you thought of it as nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in elementary school, when you're a little kid, even, freshman, sophomore in high school, you're like, all right, like what does that actually mean? And then you get to hear, you guys are at this, you guys aren't that big yet, but you guys are getting there. And you're still treating that dude on the street the same way that you would a year and a half or a year ago, a little bit under a year ago when you guys were, not a big company or not even a big company, but just like
where we are now.
Where you are now. I mean, and that's the thing that you guys have that humility factor, and that's why I want other people to notice. I mean that you guys are still normal people, and though you're having great success, you don't think of it. I mean, you probably still think about those days where you weren't. Where am I now?
There's way more to get, man. We don't even think about it. This is not even success yet. This is just steps in the right direction. Yeah, that's all it is. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying for sure.
Well, you guys just keep the grind. You guys keep on grinding. It doesn't matter how you're feeling in the morning. Doesn't matter what's happening around. You guys just keep pushing, and that's what I'm gonna get into. Like, how do you guys push each other? What makes you guys texting all the time? Like, we need to go do this. Someone's feeling down.
FaceTime. It's more like
you should see our daily calls.
It's like me. Like someone will like tag Jerpa, and I'll be like, Austin, like repost that on the story now. Like Austin, he's like, no, like, I don't want the story to be too long. I'm like, Austin, just like put it up. And like it's like stuff like that, or it's like Brad, come get a package. I don't know what other stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, he was just talking about like how do we push each other? Like I don't know, just.
I mean, I honestly, like, dude, looking at Austin, like 3.95 GPA, supply chain major, but also running a business too. Like, that's a lot. Like, sometimes it's like, dude, like, Jerpa, man. They'll just call me and be like, I don't like Jerpa or school, like Jerpa. I'm like, Jerpa.
No, it's just hard. It's just hard to focus on. But I mean, that comes down to time management. But just pushing each other. I mean, when you look at, like, we don't have an end goal, but we have a goal, which is to continue to get bigger. Like, I think we're both focused, we're both motivated, we're both determined. Just having a goal in mind, we're gonna do whatever it takes to get there, and I think that pushes us to get there. That pushes us to do whatever it takes.
And what do you think's taught you that through just like I know, Brad, that you work out a lot. I see it on your Instagram story. Do you feel like that's how you kind of learn that? Just pushing someone else to get bigger, just like some get better at what.
I mean, like I'll bring it back to high school. Like I mean. Like I was playing varsity football. Like I was a captain. Kid. Yeah, I was a little 205, 5'6", guard and linebacker. But I mean, honestly, just like the life skills that I've learned is like a lot of it was just like through football and like playing team sports and like let's say some player is down, I'll go over, but dude, like come on, like you got this, just like little stuff like that. Even in the weight room, pushing kids, like saying, hey, let's go, come on, one more rep, like you're not getting this day back, like make the most out of it. Just like kind of like doing stuff like that, kind of tied into like business and stuff,
Yeah, for me, I mean, definitely basketball. I didn't really talk about this, but my first 2 years, you're cheerleading. I was a practice player on the basketball team here, right? So I don't know if you knew that.
Penn State,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, shout out Austin Thomas. Nice hooper.
Coach Chambers, like one of the things he preached was just getting 1% better every day, right? So like you wake up, get 1% better today. So I think keeping that in mind, being better than you were yesterday, being a better Austin, being a better Brad, being a better Ronan, being a better viewer, whoever it is, just being a better you, 1% better the next day. I think that's kind of what pushes us. And I talk about my family, like just work ethic, right? Like drilling that.
I mean,
work
I
ethic
personally, for me, I just love seeing happy customers. I love seeing people just rocking a Jerpa beanie, a Jerpa mask, a Jerpa cardigan, whatever the product. I just love seeing it out, like walking around like State College, and I see that, and like I dap him up, like, yo, like what's good? He's like, oh, you're the Jerpa guy. I'm like, yeah, like how you doing? He's like, dude, like I love the content, whatever. It's just like I just love that, and like literally just that motivates me to just keep going with it.
And you guys, you're pushing on each other. Have you ever went to bed one night and saying, I could have done more? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's bad if you don't go to bed saying that because, I mean, there's days where you're content with the work that's been done.
I mean, I'll be honest, like being at school, like I'm not as motivated to do stuff just because like, partying and just like being here. But like, I feel like I can, I definitely do go to bed like thinking, all right, like I should have done more today.
Yeah.
But hey, you wake up the next day and
that's the attitude you gotta have.
But that's what I'm saying. Like even on a very
pass.
successful day, you should at least be saying, I could have done more. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes back to what I said of just like not being content. Like I'll have days where I'll just mess around, watch TV, watch the games, and like of course you can do better, but then it's the days that you do homework, you do Jerpa, like what could you have done better, right? Like just always looking to improve, always looking of ways to be better, but not like I don't mean go to bed depressed, like oh I should have done this
exactly.
and like dreading on it, but just be better the next day. Let's go back to the 1%.
And that's something that you don't learn right away, and that's what I'm trying to get through on this podcast. That like you guys are giving these listeners information about things that you're not going to read in a textbook.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to learn about how to motivate yourself, how to feel this certain way when you're feeling down. And you guys are giving wisdom throughout, the community, the 100 people that might be listening to this podcast. And that's what, I'm trying to get you guys to, not only inspire them out there, but you guys are inspiring me too. I mean,
appreciate that.
I want to walk out there right now and start my own club.
I love it.
The energy that you guys give off is just absolutely insane. It's 110% every day. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. You guys are out there doing something. And that's a big thing I harp to my friends. I mean, go do something today. Like when you were starting that company, starting Jerpa, were you just like one day, you know what, I'm going to do it. And how did that make you feel when you first said, like, you got your first pair of jeans and you were like, wow. Like,
yeah, I mean,
started this.
Yeah, I mean, that's like unreal. But like, that's what I was talking about before of just like not caring about what others think. Like I had that idea and nothing, like the only person that could have stopped me was my dad and brother and my mom, because like I always shoot ideas by them and to see if it's a good idea. But like, as soon as, talk about close circles, as soon as they said it was a good idea, nothing was stopping me of coming out with it. Then we got the sample. The sample was literally unreal. I was like, this is going to be successful, and just going through with it. But I mean, I can't really explain the feeling. Like it was just like unreal. And now to see the success of it in terms of just like,
and it's just like, it's fun. Like we're always like talking to like different people, reaching out to this person, reaching out to that person, just like literally just networking. Like we're like, doing Jerpa stuff, but at the same time, we're also like building our networks of like people.
But it went from like people supporting Bradley, people supporting me, like, yo, I want to support you, let me buy a pair of jeans, to College Weekly just shouted us out. I don't know if you saw that, but the College Weekly page just shouted us out. We had sales from Vermont, Massachusetts, like just seeing people like that we don't know in a place that we don't know ordering the product kind of shows what we're doing has potential and it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, you guys finally got the natural customers that every business,
exactly
strives for.
Yep.
And that's without Facebook or Instagram.
So what do you guys think? So in the future, near future, what are you guys planning on Jerpa? What's the, you said you didn't have an end goal. Let's talk about a month from now. What's
I'm kind of, a month from now?
Yeah, I don't want to try and make you guys think of something that's going to happen 10 years ago, because, no one really knows what that's
Well, I mean, in terms of we already have the products we want, like the hoodies, the demand's already been unreal.
Crazy.
Just from one video.
Did you just order another 100?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to reorder that in terms of relaunch that. But then I don't know if you remember our cardigans that we did.
Yeah, dude, I got one in my closet right now.
Exactly, we're gonna relaunch that, and then just like another hardship that we're going through is just in terms of our jean supplier right now with Corona, with the China-U.S. kind
Austin, people don't want to hear this.
China-U.S. relationship. I know, I'll get off of it, but China-U.S. relationship, we have to kind of find another jean supplier who can do this. So we're still working on that. But then you talk like long-term scopes. Obviously, the products that are coming out. But then you talk long-term scope. I think the biggest thing for us,
warehouse.
where obviously like
how sick would that be? Like we're in the warehouse, taking videos, look at all thousands of Jerpa shipments going, but it like ugh. It's like that vision fires me up.
In terms I've always said this from the beginning. Our signature product will always sell, which is the jeans line with Jerpa. But if we're able to, you look at North Face, they're a warm company. Mm-hmm. They can sell tees in the summer. They can sell backpacks, and people are going to buy them because of that brand loyalty. If long-term, 5-10 years, we're able to build that kind of community, which we're working on now, into later, where it's already working.
Tees, yeah.
Sure, we only did
people bought these tees.
Sure, we only did 100 tees in the summer, but 100 tees still sold, right? Like being able to scale that, 1,000 tees, right? Like where you're just able to kind of sell branded products where people are now buying it. Like why do you buy Burberry? Why do you buy, because of the pattern, because of the prestige or whatever comes with it. If we're able to build something like that around Jerpa, I think the success, and that's kind of my long-term vision in terms of, sure, our signature product is jeans with Jerpa, but I want to be a clothing company, right? Like, I want to be an overall brand.
And a big thing for me, and some things that I've learned, through just talking to other people, is that you got to manifest it. You guys are putting, the words out in the universe. Like, keep envisioning that in your head. Is that, something that you guys go through? Like, you guys talk about being successful every day, and, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but at least you're trying.
Yeah. Well, we don't talk about being successful, but I would definitely say the work we put in, it's in the right direction towards success. But
we just gotta keep doing our thing.
Yeah, my dad
keep being ourselves.
My dad always says don't chase. I said earlier, don't chase money, don't chase success. Like even in sports, you're chasing a championship, all of a sudden you twist your ankle, right? Like tomorrow's never given. You never know what's gonna happen. Just day by day, again, just stay in the present, kind of tick at it, and hopefully one day we'll be successful. But if we're not,
at least we tried. At least we had fun with it during college.
And the experience,
I would love to,
the experience we've gotten from Jerpa, like you said about the things school
you can't teach in school.
Now we can come out with another company. Doesn't have to,
It's we've been through it. All right, we haven't been really through it yet, but what we've done so far, I've learned just working with people, knowing how to approach someone, knowing their background, starting small talk and then getting into, hey, my buddy started this company, would be interested in, if you were to rep, that kind of stuff. Not just coming off as, like an asshole and just hey, want to rep Jerpa. No. Start a little small talk, know their background.
Yep.
Just stuff like that, and it's going to help me later on in life, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, the things that you're not getting tested on it.
I'm not getting tested. I don't need to be nervous about it. I just be myself and just learn through the experience. And that's my biggest thing. I know, I'm best at learning is when I'm just thrown into something and it's figure
rise
it out.
To the occasion.
Yeah, just figure it out. And then you fail, okay, now you learn from that failure. And because if you don't fail, then obviously you're not doing something right. You gotta fail. You need to fail.
Yo, preach that. Preach that. So when you're talking about this failure,
because people are afraid of failure.
Right.
People are afraid of failure, and that's what holds them back. So that's why I give all the credit in the world for Austin doing this, because I'm sure he had thought oh my god, I don't know if this is gonna be what are people gonna think, and that's why I give him so much respect for just doing it, coming out with it. Luckily we connected, I was able to help out, and now I would consider him one of my best friends, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so before we conclude the show, I asked Brad and Austin to bring in 2 quotes that, really inspire them, motivate them when they're down, really define who they are. So, Austin, what's the quote that you brought in to tell the viewers out there?
Rather than Austin and I giving, both of us, each giving, an individual quote that we each live by, Austin's just going to give a quote that we both live by.
Yeah, no, so the big one I kind of always say and really do live by is one that, my parents have kind of said to me, but it's basically just, if you're going to be a janitor, own the janitorship, right? No matter what you're doing, give it 110%. Do your best at it, right? Because nothing's kind of guaranteed. So that's kind of what we've lived by. Don't half-ass anything, basically, right? Everything you
if
do.
you're doing something, be all in. You're either all in or all out.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that you gotta have.
Exactly.
I love it, boys.
And guess what? I'm all in.
So, all right, before I wrap up the show, I'd just like to thank Austin and Brad for coming on today and distributing some of the wisdom they've attained just from starting a company and becoming two outstanding young entrepreneurs. And before I turn off the mics, Brad, Austin, tell the listeners out there where to follow y'all and what's in store for Jerpa Jeans in the near future.
direction.
All right, well, I am actually banned from TikTok, so let's cross that off the list. But just follow me on Instagram at brad.kraut, brad.kraut. And then, I have a LinkedIn, but I'm not really active.
Don't follow my personal. Follow at Jerpa Jeans. That's more important. At Jerpa Jeans on Instagram, and then jerpajeans.com is the website. Use code Kraut10.
Obviously.
All right, boys, I love it. And to all the listeners out there, I hope you have a great rest of your day and keep on keeping on.